You gotta love how while there's this like emotional struggle going on, we have Best Boy over here just playing a game with, the man who's gonna most likely mix the song that EIKO'S been working on. But in terms of like visual symbolism, whether it's like climbing the mountain, the peak's always out of reach, to just going back to the basics when it comes to Kabe, who, based on what we saw of his backstory, like prior to the incident on the stage that kind of caused him to go away and basically not even want to pick up freestyling ever again. I love the fact that for him, just the simple idea of like, why does it have to be you need to defeat this man? Like, wasn't it just for fun back in the day? It's a pretty basic thing to think about, but for someone who started just for fun and then, got very successful and then one defeat pushed him over, why do you have to try to be the best anymore? Why can't you just have fun and then in return, you'll naturally just be good? You may not beat everyone, but ultimately you'll be able to be back in the zone that caused you to stay on the top sort of a thing. And then for EIKO, just the simple idea of experience, it really does go a long way because now they've officially confirmed my kind of suspicions after last week. Without doubt, the girl in the mask out of the trio there, a part of this very popular idol kind of group, the fact of the matter is she's one of their members, right? And the fact that it very much is giving me the impression, the reason why she performs on the street, why there's no auto-tune, there's no filtering, it's just a girl with a guitar, whether a bass guitar, acoustic guitar, sometimes drums, right? Just the fact that she can be raw and real. There's no filters, there's no production, it's just her. Because there was a moment in this episode, I think it was around the midway point, where, she gets asked her opinion on this group, and she's like, isn't it like that overproduced idol band or something along those lines? Even though that was definitely a way to, like, brush off the conversation because she didn't want Eiko to pry even more. I mean, when you look at the two side by side, very much you might raise an eyebrow, but, given the moment, I mean, there's a lot of characters with black, dark hair, right? It's just because she's good at singing doesn't naturally mean everyone's going to say, oh, it's her, right? So I like the fact that she brushes it off, but it also gives me the suspicion that the reason why she just does that is it's a form of escape. That she can perform music the way she wants to without eyes saying, you have to do it this way so it reaches this point in the charts, or it's going to sell this much, or, people are going to come to the crowd. The crowds who like my music will come naturally because it's free and it's real. So I think that kind of like real approach and the fact that she does have clearly so much experience on the stage because she's been trained professionally, I think it goes a long way because for her, even though she understands what it means to be successful, clearly something that they're hinting that she doesn't like anymore, she can take that experience and her current passion of just performing on the street in a real way, and then in return, EIKO gets to start performing in her own way. And as she says at the end of the episode, it felt like she took on her own spin and put her own voice on a very classic hit song. That's what's really cool about this show, is that it really understands how to make the passion of music seep into your soul. Like I mentioned in last week's video about that kind of Carol and Tuesday production, right? Them just performing, having it feel raw, whether it was the close-ups on the instruments and how the finger placement, and I mean, sure, there's like a lot of like still shots that they pan around and zoom in on, but there's other moments where they really feel like, damn, they animated that simple moment of them playing an instrument better than I've seen shows that are completely focused on characters hitting a piano key or strumming a guitar string, right? The thing that's really sold me on so far the second half of Ya Boy here is that instead of it being just, okay, EIKO has this talented voice, she has this master tactician who's going to apply all this Three Kingdom kind of maneuvers that led him to victory in the past, rather than it just being that, they also bring in this kind of believable, kind of almost underdog story of like, just because you have all that talent surrounding you, the biggest key in making this all work out is if the passion's there and you don't get discouraged. And I think it's pretty interesting because almost in similar ways to both Kabe as well as EIKO, they both are missing that one thing that lets them just have fun. And that is, for Kabe, obviously he's trying to defeat the person who he feels like he can't defeat anymore. And then for EIKO, she feels like she's not good enough. She's not strong enough in her own vocal performance to be able to be as good as this trio idol group or this underdog girl over here or there. Instead, they both just need to have fun and practice and just, even though they have these kind of almost professional goals, the thing that's going to make them stand out, which immediately made them stand out to begin with, is just two people with natural talent who are having fun. And if they just focus on practicing and refining rather than saying, how do I find my own voice? Just practice. And I think the idea of performing on the street, which is exactly why he sent her there, also no way he didn't know about, who also was performing there, since he's been investigating everyone before they even realize, and the viewer themselves. I love the fact that, just the idea of stripping it down so raw and just having fun again is pretty much the key. And like they say, practice makes perfect. I also have to say, Kabe's, seemingly best bro here is without a best bro of the season. Just the way this man, just got through to him. Everyone needs someone in their life, whether it's a loved one, a friend, just a teacher, just the person who can get through your skull that, bitch, please, you like doing it, just do it for fun again. And just the fact that even, he wasn't rhyming at different points, and you could tell he was an amateur, but I think that's exactly what he needed. Because we've been going from seeing Kabe as this, used to be this amazing professional, and instead of, looking at it as being what's he missing to defeat, right? What is he missing to have that victory on this man? And then in comes his friend, who's not as professional, not as skilled, but is clearly having way more fun than Kabe, and he just smacks some honest sense into him, saying, even if I'm not rhyming, I'm doing my life the way I want to. I don't care if I get 100 views on YouTube. I don't care if I'm working a job, that may not be my entire passion. I get to do my thing that is, the thing that I'm so passionate about. And the fact that that got through to him, that's what makes the show so great, is just how real it can be in those very honest and finer moments. But this was a great episode. It really was. I like how they're balancing the two sides right now in terms of the kind of rapping as well as just raw and real street performances. And the fact that the little taste we did get of them in this episode performing together, just that random freestyle on her song. I mean, there was nothing happening there. There wasn't backing instrumentals. It was just two people performing in the moment. And that was without a doubt one of the most memorable things we've seen in this show when it comes to music, because it didn't feel like they were putting on a show. It just felt like they were being real and honest with themselves. And sure, there was that missing voice element, but it still gave us such a great view of where the show could go with them performing in the future. And it still feels like, based on the pacing, even though I have no knowledge of the source material, the stage is going to be the final hurrah that this season has going for it. And hopefully this won't be a one-and-done season for PA Works, because the more I see of it, the more I'm hoping that the reason they decided for the first time to make a manga adaptation was this was just a story too good to pass up, and they want to do it for as long as possible. But that's how I'm feeling anyway. Thoughts if you have any, though? What do you think of Nanami and the idea of her almost double life, the reason she's escaping? Do you agree with my thoughts on it, or do you have your own interpretation, as well as the whole Kabe and EIKO situation? There's a lot going on there as well, so whatever you're thinking about all of it, let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here. Till next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.